Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Detroit Lions. Quickly get into it. Obviously, we're going to start with the blockbuster trade, right? They made the trade to trade Matthew Stafford, and in return, they got 2 first-round draft picks and Jared Goff. So again, you got a younger quarterback. Obviously, you're going to pay him a lot of money over the next 2 seasons, but you got younger at the quarterback position. You added 2 first-round picks, and again, you know that you're in a rebuilding year. So at this point, once you make that trade, you know the direction that your franchise is now going into. Now, unfortunately for Detroit Lions fans, it seems like you've been going in this direction for the last 4 decades, it seems like. You guys are always in constant rebuild mode. So another one is kind of like, man, this is just what we do. It seems like we're constantly in rebuilding mode. Hopefully, this regime will be different than the next, which, again, as a Lions fan, you've had to have heard that 5, 6, 7 different times throughout your lifetime so far. But I think it's off to a good start, right? I mean, again, if you're going to rebuild, getting younger at the quarterback position and adding 2 first-round picks is always a good thing for a rebuilding team. Now we'll get into the free agents. Obviously, they lost a lot of guys. Again, if you're going to rebuild, it's pointless to sign some of your aging players. And with Kenny Golladay, he was kind of a borderline because he is, I want to say, 28 years old. So you could have theoretically signed him to a long-term deal and he could have played out the whole contract. But if you think it's going to be 2-3 years before you're ready to compete, at that point, a Kenny Golladay at 30, 31, 32, is he going to be as productive as you want him to be with your team that you think would be ready to win at those years? So again, some of the free agency signings, not great players, but again, you needed some guys on your roster. So if you let a lot of guys go, you got to replace them with somebody. So they got Tyrell Williams, Michael Brockers, Rashad Perriman, obviously the Jared Goff trade, Quentin Dunbar, and Jamal Williams, the ex-running back for the Green Bay Packers. So again, you added some depth at some positions where you lost some guys. So it was kind of what you had to do, no splashy moves. And again, when you are in the first year, which is going to be the first year of a new rebuild, you're really not trying to sign any guys, right? You're essentially saying, you know what, we need to use this season to clean house, bring in some guys through the draft that we want to build around, and then next year we can use that offseason to maybe get the cap situation handled and kind of free up some space to use on players we want to bring into our organization. So let's just go over the draft real quick. Obviously, they took Penei Sewell, who, I mean, again, you heard me talk about him forever. I think he's going to be one of the safest picks in the draft. It seems like he's going to be, an instant Pro Bowl caliber left tackle right away. And I'm always a big fan of building from the offense and defensive line, so I think that is the best way to build a actual winning roster. They used the 2nd round pick on a defensive tackle, Levi Onwuzurike. Probably pronouncing it wrong, but again, here is the spelling of it. And then in the 3rd round, they took another defensive tackle, big shocker there. They took Alim McNeil. So again, you're clearly seeing that they're trying to build from the offense and defensive line. It's a pattern you actually see from a lot of the good, consistent teams where they have strong offense or defensive lines, if not both. And then with the 4th round, it was just outside the top 100 at 101. They took a cornerback. I can't even begin to pronounce this name. I apologize, but it's just going to be spelled out right here. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that at all. And then again, just to go over the rest of the draft real quick, I usually like to focus on the top 100 because those are the guys that get the starts and also a lot of snaps, again, outside the top 100. So it's hard to make the roster. So a lot of these guys that are picked outside the top 100, you're trying to really just make plays on special teams and get in as a rotational player. But as far as the rest of the draft, so at pick 112, they took a wide receiver, Amon St. Brown. At pick 113, which is the very next pick, they took a linebacker, Derek Barnes. And then at pick 257, they took Jamar Jefferson, a running back. So again, I'd like to focus in on those top 100 players. And in this particular case, we'll do 101. Again, you took offensive linemen, 2 defensive tackles, and then a corner. So again, you're definitely trying to build defense and also just the offense and defensive line. So I like that. If you're going to completely rebuild, let's get a good offensive lineman, some good defensive linemen. And again, if you are a very bad team this upcoming season, no problem. You can now use next draft to maybe draft a quarterback. And now the quarterback is not stepping in to a terrible offensive line. If you've got that left tackle in place, you maybe use free agency in the draft after the quarterback to kind of solidify the offensive line around him so he can come into a good situation. He can have success right away. Or if Jared Goff can go back to playing the way he was playing 2-3 years ago, you can give him some help as well. Let's get into the season. I actually think this is probably one of the worst rosters in the league. I could be wrong, so I guess we'll have to find out. But I think odds-on favorite, if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, the Texans are probably odds-on favorite to get the #1 pick. But if Deshaun Watson is cleared and he is able to play, I think the odds-on favorite to get the #1 overall pick has to be the Detroit Lions. Again, you traded Matt Stafford. You definitely downgraded at quarterback. Yes, you got younger, but you definitely downgraded. And Stafford was the only thing keeping that team even semi-relevant. And even him, it was tough for him to win 7-8 games. So I think this is going to be a long season. Unfortunately, as a Lions fan, you've had way too many of these. But again, hopefully this new organization can get things turned around. As far as the cap space is concerned, they have $13 million for this year, so most of that will get rolled over. And then for next season, they're projected to have 20. So they're around $33 million after you factor in the rollover. So again, that's significant cap space in order to sign a free agent or two. And again, I think next year as well, they may be looking to trade some guys that are on big term deals, guys like Trey Flowers, who even if he plays well, I want to say he's 28, maybe 27 or 28. So, I think the big question with Trey Flowers is going to be, do you want to pay a defensive end that's going to be 28, 29, 30 years old, when realistically, I think you might look at the Detroit Lions and say, we're 3+ years out from competing, right? So in 3 years, we're going to pay him all this money, and then by the time we're ready to compete, he's actually not going to be as productive as we want him to be, or at least what he's being paid to be. So I think it might be a good idea to maybe trade him next offseason. If you can get anything for him, he did miss a couple games this year, so he didn't have a good year. But if he can come back strong and have a good year, maybe you can trade him and get something for him. If not, I think next year you're able to release him and not pay him as much money, so you can save some cap space, which would help your obviously rebuild by creating more cap space to sign guys that maybe you do want to bring in, maybe a lot younger guys that will contribute to winning when your team is ready to win. So again, a little bit of a quicker video probably, because again, at the end of the day, I think at this point, everyone knows the Lions are in probably year 1 of a long rebuild. So at this point, it's just about weathering the storm and getting through this next 2-3 years and hoping that the team actually starts to build a winning franchise. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you guys so much, and make sure to leave a like if you did like the video. Also subscribe if you're not subscribed, as it does help out the channel. But again, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to the next one. Bye.